Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Women in STEM, Academia and Corporations. Today is the International Day of Women and Girls in Science, and that is why we are here to discuss about the challenges that female scientists still have in their professional careers, and how can we as a society, together women and men, contribute to improve that situation. My name is Sandra Junquera Navarrete, and I'm the communication chief of the Spanish Association of Scientists in Denmark. And I'm here today at the Spanish Embassy from Denmark in Copenhagen, together with three amazing speakers that have kindly accepted my offer to participate in this interview. Before I present them, let me remind you that the chat is open for your questions. So don't hesitate, don't be shy, and you can add your question there, but we will answer questions at the end of the session. So yeah, let's meet our guests. First, we have Marie Lopato. She has a master in technology and is specialized in life science. Welcome, Marie.
Thank you.
And next, we have Carlota Oleaga. She's a translational scientist that is currently working as a global scientific publication manager at Novo Nordisk. So welcome, Carlota.
Thank you very much.
And last but not least, we have Maria Escudero Escribano. She's an associate professor at the University of Copenhagen and leader of the nanoelectrochemistry group and co-PI of the Center of High Entropy Alloy and Catalysis. So welcome, Maria.
Thank you very much.
So let's get started with the questions. So I would like first to ask you all the same question, which is, when did you decide to become a scientist and why? So who wants to be the first one? Who wants to open the floor?
I guess I can open. I guess it's a balance of two things. Like, I was lucky enough to have the school who provide me like the platform to go to excursions, trips, Olympiadas as well, like good science department, labs as well. And also on the other hand, I have my parents support me the trip. Like my siblings, they were helping me with the chemistry, maths, physics, exercise, and homework. So that kind of provided me like the push and the confidence to actually decide, okay, I'm gonna follow my career in science. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's kind of the foundation and to kind of push the long journey. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice. Carlota?
And I can follow, I think Marie brought a very important point, the backup of your family and your surroundings. In my case, I always liked biology from high school or middle school. And after I started pharmacy, I became more interested on what they were doing in the labs. And that's how I started in biochemistry and molecular biology. But yes, very good point, Marie.
Marie?
Yes, so in my case, I always loved science at school, and especially maths and chemistry. I always had the support of my parents, which is like really important. I agree with them. We don't see women scientists in our daily lives, so we need that support a lot. And for me, it was kind of clear that I wanted to pursue a career in science, and I decided that the chemical engineering. It could have been many because I liked a lot of different careers. But then during the career, I had it clear that I wanted to do this and become a scientist and do that for trying to, with our science, try to help building a better and more sustainable world. And this is what I guess, as a person from Cáceres, as a girl from Cáceres, science had brought me to many different places all over the world, like the US and Germany during my PhD, and then Denmark, and finally, becoming a group leader here at the University of Copenhagen. So science is, I think, it's fantastic, and you can also travel a lot.
Yeah, that's for sure. All the conferences, right?
Yes.
Not now. I hope they start again, but yeah, for sure. Yeah. So next question after this introduction. There are many studies that have seen that girls are less likely to see science as a viable career compared to their classmates, their male classmates. So in your opinion, which changes are needed in the scientific system to be more attractive to women in science and and other scientists? Yeah,
I think that's true. It affects to specific careers within science and other type of careers, but I think it's important to have a role model. I think we are lacking in our society role models of women scientists, no? That the kids can see them and have them as reference so that they can think of, maybe I want to become a scientist. So I think that's key, and this event is helping to show to the little girls that maybe they are deciding what career they want to achieve, and that a career in science is an option for them.
Yeah, very good point.
I would say also, like, it's important to change the curriculum, how it's presented. Like, different examples we have every day about scientists. Who are the scientists we study? Like, the typical ones, they are mostly male, all male, and probably dead nowadays. And also as well, having like a teacher who encourages you to pursue that career. Because growing up, actually my teacher told me it's better you become a teacher instead of studying something with science or engineer. Imagine a 16-year-old hearing that from the teacher. It's kind of very disappointing, and also like the trust you have with that teacher, it kind of breaks as well if you don't feel supported. And yeah, on top of that, role models is important, but also like having very early in age, so don't wait until you have to decide what university to go, maybe starting from the age of 13 or 14. That would be a good start.
Yeah, I guess I completely agree. I think it's visibility. What you don't see doesn't exist. If you have your textbook and you only see male scientists through the history, this is going to be what you think that is something not made for you. So this is very important. So for me, I would say visibility and support. Yes, so I agree with them.
Yeah, next questions. I continue with the statistics. So numerous studies have found that women, in science, fields publish less, they are paid less for their research, and they do not progress as far as their male career. So it's clear that there's a gender gap here. So how could we close that gap? Maria, do you have more?
I guess this is such a complex question, because this is, I mean, the numbers that we see are like less than 30% women in academia. So this is something that, I mean, statistics is real, and the problem is that it's not changing that much in the past years, decades, we can say. So that's a problem, and according to the UN, if we continue at this growth, it will be 100 years until we close that gap. I think we should do something. We need to do something. And it is very complex, but it's clear that there is a big gap and it's not changing at the speed we would like to. So panels that are more balanced will give, for instance, like more like fairer results, and we have to think in that way, I think. But it's very complex.
Yeah, for sure.
But if I may add, as activities to try to close that gender gap, perhaps maternity leave or parental leave, if you would put that as an equal, could maybe enforce or force that whenever a woman has to take the leave, it's equal to the one that the men can take, so that the stop that you do on your professional career, it's equal. And also perhaps putting more females on management positions also could guide or give some example, that the female role and the male role can be equally important.
Yeah, actually the maternity topic is one very important. We will come back later on with that question, so you can start thinking about that. Yeah.
I think it's also like not just the maternity leave. The problem starts from the foundation. How do you hire people to get the jobs initially? How do you actually make it transparent, the process of hiring? How do you recruit it? Because to get promoted, to get higher salary, you have to have a seniority, but you don't get like a your first position available for you from really young age, or you don't have the network to actually access to those positions, you will never actually catch up with the people that they have maybe the same age, but they probably have way more opportunities for you. And on top of that, also as well, how do you get promoted in the job? How do you actually feel comfortable in the workplace as well? So you don't have to leave. And that's what happened when many women go on maternity leave, when they have to come back. It becomes a challenge. They feel like they are not confident enough to do the job they've been doing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Actually, here there is like a good metaphor that you can at home search if you want, that is called the leaky pipeline, that really reflects. Google that image because it's really, I think it's very visual, and yeah, that helps a lot to make an impact about this problem. And yeah, it needs to be closed. Not in 100 years, as you said, now. Yeah, and then next question is how can then male support their female peers? Because this is not a fight between genders, right? They also have to support here. So yeah, what would you advise to one of your colleagues, what they can do to help this fight? Do you have any ideas?
Just to be present. Today, you are not seeing them, but we have males here in the room, and they are contributing to this event, so thank you very much. It's super important. And just to acknowledge the gender gap and give support, and this can be applied to males and females also, and universities and institutions. Just whenever you are thinking of starting a project and you are selecting candidates, having consideration to have diversity there, no? To have representation of all genders. And I'm saying this, I'm trying to do this exercise myself because it's very rooted in our insight in our society, and we don't think on our daily basis that we need to have that in consideration. So I'm saying it also for myself, to always remember to try to consider diversity in all actions.
Yeah, actually for us also in our events that we organize, is as you say, we have to do an exercise like, okay, whatever we have, we want a panel of speakers. Okay, remember, let's try to find an equal number of male and female, because there are scientists from both genders that deserve to be there. So yeah, that's a very good exercise to do.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think this is very important, just as a small point. So it is a fight for equality, right? So it is a fight for all of us, not only 50% of us. This is really, I think, the key, and they have to acknowledge, because this is the reality. And then this is, so for me, seeing like this week, all the events where all the women speak, and then next week again, most of the panels are all male panels. This is a little bit discouraging, and this is where I would like to see the change also. So here also men, and the rest of the year equality, real equality.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you can start with the decision makers. Who actually decide what panels? Who actually decide where do we get the people that are going to be speaking? Are we going to go to the same sources we always go to? Are we going to think outside the box, ask the people around the table what's missing, what is wrong, or what is lacking, I guess.
Yeah, that's very important. Okay, so yeah, next question is the maternity topic that you brought just a few minutes ago. Yeah, I know that you are not mothers yourself, but have you ever considered like how feasible do you see to balance work in your professional careers and also at work? Like, is it a hard job to combine both?
I guess it's a challenge. The problem is to start calling it maternity leave. It's not the mother who only has the kids. It's like parental leave. Like the mother deliver for 9 months, stay like uncomfortable body situation, emotionally, hormonal, and then what happened after? How much support from the male perspective? How much is actually awarded the guys they decide to actually take time off to take care of the new baby? And from there you can actually start to support also the transition between being a parent, going back to work as well. I think it's like a community. It takes a tribe to raise a kid. So it's more like, well, it's like a dividing the roles as well, and how your workplace can help you to actually do that transition.
Yeah.
And of course, we are lucky enough. Parental leave in Europe is quite present and kind of privileged as well, like 6 months, 1 year, you can be out. But in other places, like literally 3 weeks or 2 months maximum.
Or
nothing.
Or even nothing.
In the US, many places.
Exactly.
But if I may add to that, so yes, maternity and career, it's a topic that it's hot, but related to women that are working in science and doing research, for example, basic research, having a kid is a difficulty, because when you are doing research you have to work many hours and weekends and for years. So first you need to consider that you're going to be on maternity leave X time, no? Then you have to consider that you will go back to work, but the salaries when you're a researcher are not super high, and sometimes having the kid on kindergarten, it's even more expensive than what you earn with your salary. So going back to your leaky
pipeline.
Leaky pipeline. So in the career of a scientist, becoming more and more mature in the career, you see the leakage, no? Because it's very difficult to arrive to positions like where Maria is right now. But if you add on top of that you are becoming a mother, and you question, no? Like, should I continue working, or should I pay for that kindergarten? You know, like at the end, it's negative numbers. So I think for women in science, you question about having kids because it's not easy.
It's just, I mean, I didn't even consider it up to now. So if it's been so hard, like this career is really hard. You have to work like crazy. I mean, I do it because I love it, and this is like what I'm passionate about. But just imagining having kids and knowing, like from very close, like from my sister, what this is, I think it would have been impossible. And this is a problem then. This is really a problem we have.
I have colleagues of mine, women in science, that are mothers, and I talked to them before coming here today, and I'm giving also their opinion with what I said, and it's a struggle to be a mother in science, and perhaps universities or industries could help a little bit more, maybe offering kindergarten areas, or maybe even a little bit more support from governments. That could help, as well as I referred before, the maternity leave, no? That making equal to the men, so that can be shared.
Yeah, very interesting ideas. Hope someone is listening and can take them. Yeah. Okay, so next question is about which actions do you carry out in your daily life to help increase the diversity in science, and not only about women, but also, for example, in terms of race and we are very diverse, right? The humans. So what do you do to try to increase the diversity? Yeah.
I can start. I mean, I think this is something that I consider really important, because especially I think it is the fair thing to do to give opportunities to anyone, like women, all the minorities in STEM. They deserve also. And I mean, in my case, I didn't have to do an effort to have a very diverse team. Right now I have 10 people in my group, and 7 are women, and we are from 7 different countries. And this is something I really can see every day, that this is really rewarding, because you get all the background. It's also very multidisciplinary. So I have chemists, physicists, chemical engineers, materials engineers, nanoscientists, and this from all over the world. And this is really, I think, the best, and what you can get the best science from all this diversity. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Sometimes, right, we tend to group with people that is like us, but what is the fun there? You don't learn anything new. So if you just stay in your comfort zone with the people that you know, people that have studied in the same university like you, for example, okay, then you have studied the same things. Exactly. Maybe if you hire someone
that's right.
from abroad, maybe they bring new ideas and yeah, they can contribute to the science that you are doing. So yeah, I think that is a big takeaway that science is done.
Will be much richer, the result, exactly. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I started noticing that when I moved abroad to the US, and that topic was more discussed. This was a few years ago now. But yeah, some years ago, we were not discussing these topics in our working environment. And today we are, and I'm learning, like I think most of the people, and you can apply it to any project. Even from scientists that want to publish a paper, you can think what is the group, no, and who is representing, who's working on that project. So it can be applied to anything, but we just need to keep it in our minds.
Yeah, yeah, it's a constant exercise, right? That we have to keep reminding ourselves.
And I'm sure that we can still learn new ways on how to reflect more diversity in our lives, but we have yet not learned how to do it.
Yeah, but well, we will discover it, so that's fine. I mean, we don't need to know everything now, but we do have to do something now. Okay. Then next question is if you have seen any change of perspective regarding girls interested in science since you were in school versus now. So for example, do you think that social media are helping in this case? Also related to what you said of role models, do you think social media maybe is a good platform for women in science to be represented? Or yeah, what is your opinion?
I can go if you guys want. I think it's a way to kind of bring more visibility to women you probably won't ever see in your life from across the globe. But also as well, you shouldn't rely on social media only, because what happens with the people that don't use social media? Are they not entitled to actually know more? So we should rely also, like, people get informed from other ways, not just social media, maybe creating real networks about it. How to bring light to those people that are far away and they represent different kind of versions as well. And from really young age, now things have changed. Like when I was younger, social media was like an email or like access to a computer, but now it's like every single teenager has access to a phone with so many different platforms, I don't know, and so many access to information and in different languages. So I guess it's valid, but also we shouldn't rely, because also there is the danger of being actually brainwashed, what is actually you get filtered to. So yeah, it's a balance.
Yeah, that's true. Now I'm remembering, I'm a little bit older here, that before science was only shared with the scientific community and was not outreach to the general public. And I guess social media here is doing a very good exercise to bring research to the population and the general population, and perhaps reaching schools and seeing the figures, the researchers.
Yeah, actually I read in the news about Catalin Carrico. The story, maybe Maria, you you also know about her. Do you want to? This
amazing woman, so it was funny because she has a Twitter, and it was some time ago. She said, "This is my Twitter, I don't know how many year anniversary," and she said 1 year ago I had I don't remember the number, but 20 followers, and she's now winning all the possible awards because of the RNA messenger and all the mRNA vaccines, and it's pretty amazing that if you read about her life, it hasn't been easy, and now is like the science hero for everyone. But there are many women through the history that has been like her, like totally invisible, doing amazing things. So just something that we can reflect. Like now at the end, she got many followers, which is not so important, but she's like saved many millions of lives, and this is pretty amazing. And there are many women like that are totally invisible, and they have been through the history. So yeah, something to think about, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, talking about important women in your lives. This question, yeah, I would like all of you to answer it. Is if you could name a woman or women, more than one, in science. It can be past or contemporary that you admire, and why? Why do you do that?
Who starts?
I'm gonna start.
I start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I would like to mention two women researchers. One was one of my PhD directors, Dr. Veronique Noé. She's a professor at the University of Barcelona. And I want to bring her into the discussion because she's a teacher and researcher at the University of Barcelona, Faculty of Pharmacy, and she inspired me. Maybe she's not super famous, but I think there are very important role models of women in science like Veronique that can inspire younger generation of women that can become researchers like me. So she made a good impact, an important impact, and a pivot change in my life. And also I can bring up another woman in science. Her name is Dr. Natalie Pamir. She's another researcher at OHSU University in Portland, Oregon. She's my mentor, which is, maybe I can bring this up. In science, you want to have mentors that they can also be like your directors, your thesis director, or your managers, but mentors can also be a colleague who has, or not, a little bit more of seniority than you, and that can give you some guidance on how to continue your career, because in research, the path that you follow is not so linear, so having some reference is important, and I would like also to bring up her name, very good researcher. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, my intention was to bring up female researchers that are currently working and doing a fantastic job.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
I can go. I would like to mention actually one of the teachers I have when I was studying Polytechnic. It was Anna. He was a teacher of calculus, and she was doing on the side a lot of research. I think it's important to mention women. They are doing the thing, but also the people before that, because to get to that level is a privilege. Not everybody has the access to go to university and get access to those role models. They are doing the research and publishing things. So also I'm realistic about it. And also like another person from really young age, I heard about her life and her history, Katherine Johnson. He was a mathematician, and she actually worked in NASA. She was working in orbits, creating things. And the reason I felt like very connected to her, because when she was one of the first women, black woman actually, who received credit about her job as well. Because most of the times in research, and many females, they are invisible. They don't really actually get award, or even they get their names on the publications as well. So I think it's something to highlight these days, because the transparency, who actually does the job in research, who actually gets the credit as well, who goes invited to the conference and talk about the papers at the end of the day. So it's important to actually highlight those women that later on in your life, but also the ones from the beginning, they actually support you and push you to do better and be better yourself as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking because I think that everyone, if you ask anyone, there are many women thanks to which, to whom we are here. That's for sure, and we really need that. We really need those science heroes and role models, and I can bring the two that have made also an impact in myself. First one, I would like to mention Margarita Salas, because she was kind of, for me, like the first scientist that I met, and I mean, I had never thought that there could be like really amazing female scientists in Spain. Really, never thought about that. So I had the chance to meet her before studying my career, and it was like super inspiring, because she was, so it was in a like summer school, let's say, and she was giving a talk, and it's like, oh my God, this is kind of a so interesting life, like doing things that have an impact for so many people. She was a biochemist, and I mean, one of the most relevant scientists in Spain, and I think that that was so, like, I was so inspired at that moment before starting my career. Like, it was like, I want to be like her, and we need to see that to realize that this can be possible. And another contemporary one, and I could mention a lot. I would like to mention Frances Arnold. So as you know, there are not so many Nobel Prize women winners, and if we consider science and Nobel Prizes, so physics, chemistry, and medicine, in all the history, I think there's been only 23 out of 600. So it's pretty amazing, and this woman is just so amazing. So she's incredibly inspiring, and she's an engineer, a scientist, an entrepreneur, and also has inspired so many of us. I think this is just really important for women and girls in science. And I think that this is also one, coming back to the other question, one thing we have now that we didn't have before, like the possibility of kind of interact with these people that are amazing through social media and so on. So yeah. We could mention, I guess, many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I may add mine, I would like to mention Dorotea Barnes. I recently investigated about her, and I discovered that she was one of the, together with another woman, she was one of the scientists that discovered the molecular structure of the cysteine, and it's a dimer of 2 amino acids. But yeah, unfortunately, when she came back to Spain, the civil war started in Spain. Her family and her, they went to France, but when they come back, she was not allowed to go to do science anymore. She could not be a teacher, she could not continue being in the lab. So yeah, she really had to drop her career because literally she couldn't. And I think it's such a pity, like what else could she have done if she was given an opportunity, right? Because I mean, it's such a pity that she couldn't continue. So I hope now she's watching us and she really sees all the amazing work that the female scientists can do to the society. So yeah, and like her, I'm sure there are like many other females that were forbidden to participate or like were hidden after.
So many. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, next question, also for all of you. It's, what advice would you give to a scientist starting her career? And would this advice be different, for a woman, or will it be the same?
Start.
Yeah, you can start.
I start? Okay. Go for it. Go for it. Do it. Enjoy it. Be passionate. If it's what you like. If you don't like, you drop it. That's fine. And do it. It's a very rewarding career, in my opinion. It has ups and downs, obviously, but it's very rewarding. My advice would be to try to think of what do you want to do in the next 2 years. This is an advice that I would like to give myself in the past because I have not done that. So although you're very focused on what you're doing right now, today, in the next month with your experiments, think what you want to do in the next 2 years, so that you can try to direct yourself a little bit. And if you cannot think about anything, find a mentor and try to get some guidance there. But yeah, if you're interested in doing science, go for it. And if you're a female, go for it with more energy and share it with your community.
Yes, I guess from like early careers, I would say use every summer to go somewhere and learn something new from a different place. Invest also some money and get good in public speaking and writing, academic writing, that is super important. Work in your English level, French, Spanish, any kind of language you can use to kind of share and communicate with the world what actually you're working on. And yeah, make friends, because science is about who do you know, who actually you are connected to. So go out there, go to those events, conference, those meetings, be there, be present, so you actually will have a chance. And yeah, also as well, I don't know, travel, discover the world, mingle a bit, and know what is out there, to know actually you're ready to do it, because you have to be ready to fail as well. Because many times you do a lot of things in the lab and you fail so many times, but still after 200 times you'll be like, okay, finally you touch something and you find a solution. But yeah, be ready to be perseverance and persist.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about what Marie is saying. I would say, I mean, science is not about having friends, but science is not something that you do alone. That's for sure. You need to do in teams, and this is very important. And I would say, so I would like to encourage everyone, and especially girls that need to be encouraged a little bit more to pursue their dreams and their passion, and not being discouraged for the obstacles that they might find along in the way, because there might be many more obstacles for them. But then it's a really rewarding career, and I think that is what career can you think of that is more rewarding than trying to solve the big problems of the world and having an impact. So yeah, please follow your passion, and it's a really great career to do, really rewarding.
Yeah. It's really nice to see that even though there are challenges, you all still feel that it's worth it, right? Like, of course, go for it. Like, yes, do it.
We definitely need, and after COVID, we need all the scientists in the world.
Yeah. That's the thing also.
We don't need
we
economists,
need them. We need all
politicians.
Of them. We need that other 50%. This is not a thing of only 50% of the world. This is a thing of all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I may add, like Marie was saying, take the advantage and go to different laboratories in different parts of the world. They do things differently, and you may learn from there. And then the scientific community is a very open community in terms of you can access pretty much anyone by email, by Twitter, by LinkedIn, and people reply. So if you have questions, ask them. And a lot of laboratories at the universities, they need help. So if you're interested, go and check in a university, go into a lab and ask if you can help somehow to gain a little bit of experience to see if you like it.
Yeah.
This is a very important advice. So take also all the opportunities that come in that sense, that don't be afraid of it, because otherwise we would be just always at home and not traveling. It's not easy to maybe for the first time in your life go to the US being very young and so on, but it's always like at the end fantastic opportunities, and you have to take them when they come, because that will have a real impact in your career and will be very important. Not only focusing on how this is in this lab in Spain or in Denmark, it's very important to go to different parts of the world and then apply to your group, or it's very important.
Yeah, I do agree that it's very important to try and to see. For example, my personal experience, I'm a pharmacist, and I thought that I wanted to be in a lab. I thought what I was passionate about. But then I tried. I was in the lab, and I thought, okay, this is not for me. this is not what I like. So yeah, don't be afraid also of changing your direction. Also when you are young, but also when you are more mature in your career, like try something new, right?
I did.
Exactly, right?
That's very important also, like change and follow really your passion that can be different to what you studied at the beginning, because this is also super flexible science, and you can really do that and be learning all the time. This is also super interesting. So yeah, don't be afraid of that.
At the end, the more exposure that you have, the more that you can think out of the box to find a solution. So it's
equality very important for the scientists. Yes. I would say this thinking out of the box. Okay, so these are the end of our questions that we prepared. But we do have questions from the audience, so that I have here. So let me read it to you. First question is for Carolina, and she asks, which professional events would you highlight as the worst and best you ever experienced, and that you think would never happen in the 21st century?
Did you understand? I'm not sure I got it.
Professional events.
So which professional events would you highlight as the worst, and which one is the best that you have been in?
You mean, so maybe the person means scientific,
like conferences.
This is what I think also. Please, Carolina, if you can clarify now your But this is how I understand the question. The question too.
So now with the COVID, that a lot of congress have gone hybrid or virtual. This has been a challenge, and I can speak from industry, for example, which are like leading the pavement on how do you present things on a virtual way. And the first year when most scientists were presenting on their congress virtually, it was a little bit of a disaster, because when you go to a congress, you either do an oral presentation or you bring a poster like this big, which is, if you are face to face, it's very nice, because you know to the person that is listening, you can explain, you have a big space. But in the screen, putting a poster is not that easy, and whoever has to read that is like, So the first year of COVID, conferences were a little bit not so, but now humans are very smart, and they have developed, and now they do different ways of presenting the data, and these more like new ways of e-posters, they call them. So basically they are cutting down them in different pieces and making them as slides. So improving. That's an example of bad to going good.
I can talk about best. I don't like to talk about the worst, because there is always room to improve. We don't want to call names, but the best I have so far, it was last year. It was a bit hybrid. You were able to come, but it was so many restrictions. It was called ISP Expo. They do it every year, and last year it was in Boston, and I wasn't able to go because suddenly the US banned everybody coming from the exchanging area, so I couldn't fly. I was sad, but I was happy to actually doing the virtual opportunity, because first we have access to all the content before the conference started, and we have access to all the articles, the presentation, the slides, everything. So once you get there, you have option to do questions. You are ready with the knowledge and everything. So it's not just listening, and then when they finish, you have the question, but you didn't have the time to digest it. So I really like how they did it. And you have a lot of chats and network before the event. So you can actually prepare yourself to kind of ask who is coming to the event, how actually can just share and collaborate in the future. And I think it was good setup, and also the platform was working, no problems with reception, logging out, so it was perfectly functional, and everything was available in different languages and with subtitles and things like that. So it was very inclusive as well.
Yeah, so almost like being in person.
Pretty much. It feels like that, because in the breaks you have music, you have different sponsors as well talking about different things, and you have the option you don't have to listen to the conference. You could get out from the room and go to other places as well simultaneously, and you have access to the recordings even if you weren't able to physically be there. So that was a good logistic behind. So yeah, I always recommend to go to that one. It's a good investment.
Yeah.
Can I mention my best congress?
Yes, I mean, of course.
I think it's the Gordon conference that they do for different topics, and I think that's a great congress because you go for an entire week, and most of your colleagues, not meaning your laboratory, but the other laboratories that are working on the same field, go to this congress in a small location, and they spend an entire week talking about their research, their science, but also like going on a hike, having dinner together. So that's a fantastic experience to build up network and collaborations, and I would like to see more of that.
How do you access to those?
Coming to that and to answer in the person, if this is something that interests her, I would search for that, because those type of conferences, I go to way too many conferences, well, before the pandemic, like more than I should, so I know all kinds of, but if you really want to do networking, which is very important in science, these ones are the best, because you get to meet everyone after the talks, talk to them, and in other conferences they might be not so accessible. So yeah, those are the best.
Yeah. Okay, we have another question in the chat from Enrique. He's asking have you ever experienced imposter syndrome at some point of your career? Do you think it's more common in women than in men?
All the time. Continuously. And I mean, this is a topic I've brought in, for instance, in my group meetings and so on. And I don't think for some reason most male scientists that I've talked to about that are PhDs or postdocs hadn't even thought about that. And we suffer it almost on a daily basis. So yeah. Thinking that you don't belong, that that you don't deserve, that you continuously, and especially women suffer imposter syndrome all the time.
Yeah. Have you experienced it, Carlota, that you are more, you have like a longer career, or maybe you have, but you have not thought about it, right? Maybe.
No, but I don't know, I guess the statistics will say, I don't know, but I guess it affects more to women. So yeah, it happens a lot of times while doing research that you're thinking like, but did I really thought about this, or did I copy it to someone? Like, you question it a lot, but you just need to remember that to be secure about yourself, to speak up, if that's what you're thinking, and don't be shy. I guess that's what I can recommend, but yeah.
And that you belong, you deserve, you have worked hard for that, and it's very difficult not to have these thoughts, but you should just be sure that it's just your thoughts. And all the hard work and the knowledge is real. So yeah, we have to fight those thoughts that come really often.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, we have another question from Salud. I think it's a girl. Sorry. She's asking, what do you think that should change so women and men are represented in management positions in academia and industry? So you said it before, right, Carlota? Like, okay, women should be there. So what should change?
The way you promote people, the culture behind it. Do you base in merits? How close they work with people? How they actually can inspire other people? Or do you just promote them because you get along with them and it's fine? Because unfortunately, we have a lot of managers that are not that great. Actually, instead of supporting and lead the way to the team, they are not that supporting in the way. So it's all about changing the system and try to kind of bring new ideas to the table as well, and to the decision maker.
But also to enforce that in all the team that is in the management, there's diversity and there's equality. So you can do like 2 groups, no, and put female and men. And whenever you have to hire that figure for female, because there is female equally prepared as men. So you just need to look for them.
Yeah.
Balanced panels. So there is a lot of statistics about that. Like when you have balanced panels, that gives fairer results. And if you want equality, you need to start from the people hiring in the hiring positions and so on to reach that equality in the managing positions. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We have another question from Marina. And this question is only to Carlota, because he's asking, how was the transition to industry from the academia? And do you think the gender gap is different in industry than in academia? Is it the same or?
So a disclaimer, I have only been 2 months in industry. But the change going from academia to industry, it was not easy. It took me a while. I was not very sure of what I wanted to do, so perhaps is that the reason. I think in industry they are looking for people from academia. They value them very much. It's just how you sell yourself, no? Because you have, maybe it's even language. In academia we don't use some of the corporate language, no? And to do interviews you need to demonstrate that you speak the same language, no? With the interviewer. For example, the word stakeholder. I've never used it in my life in the university. A stakeholder is who you work with, no? Your colleagues, your collaborators. But I was not using that word, for example. And with this I can give you a long list of examples that you can learn. I mean, they're out there, so just learn them. You have the qualities, you have from academia, you work in collaborations, you work in multidisciplinary teams, cross-functional, all of these terms. Just apply them and demonstrate to industry that you have it, you know, that you have project management skills, a lot of them, so you have it. They look for that, so just sell yourself well.
Yeah. And about the gender gap, do you feel is smaller gender gap or bigger or equal?
So I can see that in industry, and this is my experience. I have worked in 3 universities and in 1 industry, and I can see that in the management in industry there's a more equal representation, and I can see from the industry that they are pushing hard and they're very proud of it. So I do see a difference, yes, and I hope that universities move a little bit faster than that.
Yeah, Maria is saying yes. Yeah. Okay. Carolina actually explained her question. Thank you. Nice. So I have here the explanation. She meant if any of you have ever experienced something unexpected as a woman in science. I have had many positive experiences, but there have also been some that I never expected to happen.
And she was the who asked about
the first question. Yeah, the one.
What was the first
Could you
question?
repeat it?
The conferences, right?
Yeah,
Conferences.
yeah. So she
so
was.
I can, for instance, share that I've been in conferences and I've been in all different places, like organizer and participant, invited speaker, and as organizer, I've had a lot of different experiences, and they vary as with the people you are organizing the conferences with. So in some cases, I have organized them with only males, and then you start thinking of the invited speakers, and because you want to invite the best people in your area, and then the other male speakers send a list of 10 possible invited speakers with all male, And it's like, okay, this is not representing the reality, the diversity of our field at all.
Yeah.
So something happens.
Yeah.
And it's like all these small things that you have to just experience and fight on a daily basis almost is really exhausting, because these things doesn't happen if there is a diverse organizing team. It's like normal, like you just think of a balanced also list of invited speakers, and that's important. All these things are important. You only, if you are a PhD student and you go to a conference and all the invited speakers are male scientists, this sends you a message.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but that's a good point. But I think Carolina meant more, experiences in general. So maybe in the lab, daily task, right? If you have ever experienced, I don't know, like discrimination because you are a woman, or bad comments from colleagues or things like that.
For me in the lab, no, but I can share an unfortunate experience that I had, and this can happen in any career. I was asked that because I was in my ages of having kids, if I was planning to have a kid on an interview for a job. So they were considering that to hire me, and I think that was very unfortunate.
Yeah, that's true that sometimes, in some places, these kind of questions should be out of the scope, is totally out of the picture. Why, that will not make me a better performer. Okay. Last question for all of you. It's from Enrique. He said, "What is the best what is the best activism work that men and women can do to achieve a more equal world?" I guess it's a more general question.
To give voice to both genders and to show what they are doing to the general population, so that other generations can see, like we were saying, the role model. I don't know what else.
I guess to be open for change as well, because people don't like to change, people don't like new things, people don't like things when they are different. And that's actually, as humans, we struggle with new stuff. Like when COVID came, we have to wear a mask everywhere. Everybody was complaining, oh, why we have to wear? So new things, new habits as well. But it's also look around. What do you see? If you see something you have been seeing the last 5 years, there is something wrong. Something has to change. And just be open to do it. And listen to the people that are actually helping you to change.
So I think that we have to look around and see what can we do for achieving more equity and fairer opportunities for everyone, and depending on the stage of the career we can do different things. But for instance, if we see that in science, since we are talking about women in science and engineering, and most of the awards or recognitions give to white male professors, scientists, maybe we could do something individually also, like promoting diversity in that sense. In any opportunity that we have to promote it, I would say we have to think about that, we have to do the exercise and try to really do it, because that will also build a fairer place.
Yeah, and that exercise can be done
at all levels.
Everyone at all levels.
At all levels.
Remember it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so that was the last question we had in the chat. So if you would like to add any final remarks, last words before we close down the event, then here is your time.
Well, to thank you guys for organizing this event. You're doing a great work here. You represent the scientist community, Spanish scientist community here in Denmark, and you organize a lot of events, and it's great. And to the Spanish Embassy also to host us here.
Yes.
Yeah. I joined like acknowledging all of you for organizing this, and I think this is an important day, an important week, but we should remember that it should be every day, all the days of the year, because we also belong in science, and not only that other 50%, right? So I would like to think that for me, it's like always this week full of panels with women, and then next week the same again, and most male panels. I want to see this more often, and equality in panels and balance. That would be at least something that makes us thinking that we are moving towards the right direction, hopefully.
Thank you so much for organizing it. Been part of the scientists for a while, and actually I admire what actually you guys do every day. The embassy for hosting us, having us here. But I think it's not just one day, it's supposed to be something every once in a while. We have to organize and promote people, especially women. Give them the opportunity, they do something else, tell them something, okay, it was well done, you did a great job. Have the culture of promoting the good behavior and the awards as well. Because if you don't really say somebody's doing something good, they feel like the whole doubting, and going in the right direction. So yes, that will be also the message for the next generation. Just do something you like and try to focus and make a difference, and think outside the box, because we don't need more of the same anymore.
Yeah.
Also to thank all the women out there in science, because they are role models for all of us, and to the girls that reach out to us. You have our names, look our Facebook accounts, LinkedIn, you can ask questions.
Twitter, yeah, all the social media.
Come to Copenhagen, we will host you.
Okay, yeah, so I guess time is up. So thank you for your kind words, and thank you for being here. I really hope that in the future, we can stop having this kind of conversation, because that would mean that really there's no gender gap anymore, and we can go to discuss another scientific topics that that are more relevant. And if you want to continue the discussions offline, you can reach out to our social media. We are active in Facebook, in Twitter, and Instagram. And they can, if you want to contact them and you have not found the names, contact us. We can we can give you the names. So once again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you again in another event.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.